So the betting line is out for Georgia and the Gators. What do you think about it? I've got my opinion, but I want to know from you down below what you think. The line came out today on Sunday, started at 5, jumped up to 6, and now it's back to 5 again. That gives Georgia about a kind of 65% or so, 63% chance to win this game. A lot of Georgia fans are going to say that that doesn't make any sense to them, but it makes sense to me. I think that that's about right, and I think that Georgia's the better team. I don't think they're so much the better team that they can't lose, but I think that they're the better team. There's a few things that are going on right now still that we are waiting to find out about. Georgia has a lot of injuries on the defensive side of the ball. I do not expect Richard LeCount to play in this game, if not the next few games. But we're waiting to hear back about Jordan Davis. We're waiting to hear back about Lewis Seen. My suspicion is they both will not play. And stuff like that comes into account with the betting line. But generally speaking, the line is not shifted by a player or two being out. Even a quarterback is only going to shift it so much. You saw that this week with Clemson. So the other part that we're still waiting to figure out, and this is a lot less easy to know, is how many, if any, Gators will be suspended for a half for their fight with Missouri at halftime of their win on Saturday night. I don't know the answer to that. You usually find out about that by Monday evening. And that wouldn't move the number very much either. If Kyle Trask isn't playing, you could see this move from 5 to maybe 8 or 10. Stuff like that. Quarterbacks really matter. A defensive lineman, that's not going to make a big difference. But to me, I think this is the smart line in a lot of different ways. I think when you look at the fundamentals of this game, Georgia has the better fundamentals across the board. And that is the better running backs, the better offensive and defensive lines. Georgia's linebackers are better than the Gators. And although they're going to be missing some defensive backs, I would say just generally speaking across the board, they're in better position almost everywhere. Certainly not at quarterback and not at tight end. Those are two spots where the Gators are certainly better. The other thing to watch in this game as we move forward, and I'll talk about this week. We're going to have a lot of videos. But one thing to watch this week is, Florida's going with a new place kicker right now. And this is a program that's been kind of knocked off its schedule by coronavirus and COVID-19. And a lot of guys, they're having to juggle a lot right now. So that's something to watch as well. The kicker was pretty steady against Missouri, but there wasn't a lot of pressure in that game. Florida really didn't get going in that game until late in the second quarter. They didn't look good in the first 22 minutes of the game. They were not great. They were bogging down in the red zone. The pick six that Kyle Trask threw, I didn't think that was really on him because his arm got hit. And the ball just kind of wobbled away. But there were other balls that he threw that were definitely not great decisions or not great execution or both. And that's what you do not want, particularly as often as he throws the ball. So Georgia has issues with turnovers. Obviously, the Gators do as well. But I think the big thing on this is look at the fundamentals here. Who has the best and most dependable special teams? Florida, you'd have to make the argument, has with Kyle Pitts and James, I think it's James Tomey, the number one, have two extremely explosive players. But then when you think about what Georgia's got with Cook, Pickens, who probably will be back for this game, Kenny McIntosh, who will probably be back for this game, Georgia's got some explosion too. So it's going to be, to me, this is going to be a game where if you're playing it in the 20s, that's going to be hard for the Gators to win, or harder. If you're playing it in the 30s or 40s, certainly in the 40s, even with as bad as Florida's defense has looked at times, that's a lot of points for Georgia, for sure. They've only scored over 41 time, I think, this season. So they've sort of nestled into their particular brand of football, which is physicality on the offensive, defensive line, grind it out kind of thing. And that's what this game seems like to me. I think this is a grind it out game, and just Georgia's got more grinders. That's what I think, and that's why I think you see the number where it's at. The other thing is too, and I'll put it this way as well here at the end. Georgia's not been efficient offensively these last 6 quarters of football for sure. Too many turnovers, just not a lot of scoring. 14 points in the last 6 quarters. Florida's coming off playing its best game. So which is it? Is it the breadth of the season of these two teams, or is it only what's happened lately? I'll tell you, even if we're only looking at what's happened lately, I do think Georgia still should be favored, and that's why you're seeing it. I mean, 5 points is not nothing. That's almost a touchdown, and that's about 2/3 that the favorite should win the game. Dean Legge from Dog Post, making you a smarter Georgia fan. I want you to make sure that you sign up for our newsletter. It's right here. Check it out. We'll see you on the website.